I can't wait. Nah, I can't wait. Gotta go get to the money, gotta participate. Nah, I can't wait. I ain't starting late, starting on time, I'm on my grind.
It'd be a motive for something positive. So, as I said, when you are feeling jealous, or you feeling like you are looking at something, are you taking that jealousy, or you taking that way that you're feeling and you're hating on somebody, or you wishing bad on them, or are you looking at it in a way of, I actually can use this to become better. How did they get there? It should be a way of, how can I actually get to that place that they're at, right? Because sometimes, especially with me, I'll just speak on myself. When I first started doing real estate, and I've been doing real estate for a little while, you'll see people have $100,000 a month. You'll see people have $1 million a year. You'll see people have those things. You're like, well, why haven't I reached that potential? Why haven't I reached that level yet? And ultimately what it comes down to is, first of all, we got to understand that God has a path for us all, and we all have our time. Now, the thing is, I think people use that as an excuse a lot of times, because they're like, well, it's not my time yet. Well, you're also not doing the work. Now, if you're doing all the work and you're doing the things that you know that you're supposed to be doing, and it just hasn't happened for you yet, it's probably because it's just not your time yet, and that's not your story. That's their story. So the way that we supposed to look at it is, if you see somebody that has something that you want, it shouldn't be a place of jealousy. It should be a place of, you know what? How can I actually get to that place? Actually contact those individuals, right? Talk to them and actually see, how can I make that happen? How can I do what you're doing? How is it that you're here and I'm here? How can I get there? I think sometimes we get so caught up in trying to figure out, instead of doing that, we end up getting to a place where we're hating on somebody, or we're using that in a negative energy. No, we could turn anything that feels negative into a positive. We just have to choose to do that. And most of the time, we don't choose to do that. Why don't we choose to do that? Because our flesh, our nature as humans is not to collaborate. We want to conquer. We want to be the best. Which I understand that. We should always want to be the best. We should always want to conquer. But ultimately, we have to understand we don't have to divide and conquer, right? We could come together and conquer together. It doesn't have to be a place where I'm literally just hating on somebody, or I'm wishing bad on someone just because they got something that you want. That's going to happen for the rest of your life. And if you're going to sit there, if you're always going to be in a negative mindset behind it, then you're going to live a miserable life. Right? I used to sit and I see somebody, they just closed a deal. The last couple of weeks, man, I see somebody close a deal. They done made 30K. They done made 60K on the deal. I'm like, I made 10, 12 or something like that. But I'm like, you know what? Don't trip. Don't trip. And it's going to have to be a constant reminder. It's going to be something that you struggle with. Like, we're not going to act like you're just not going to struggle with it. You're not going to always be happy for somebody when they have something that you want. And that's just the reality of it. But ultimately, instead of talking about them and trying to figure out, why am I not in the place that they're at, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, what is it that I can do so I can hit those levels that I want to hit? What can I do to reach those potentials that I feel like I should be able to reach? How can I take that potential energy and turn it into kinetic? We have to be able to look at ourselves in the mirror and figure that out. Now, this thing about negative thinking and trying to figure that out is one. I heard a statistic a while back, and it's something that stick with me all the time. Just being able to study and just the mindset and studying how people think. 85% of our thoughts are negative. 95% of our thoughts are the same thoughts from the day prior, right? So we have the same thought patterns. So what are we doing to change those thought patterns to be able to put ourselves into a better place with our mindset, right? What are those things that we're feeding ourselves every day to be able to fix that? Because the thing is, we think that we worry about what we're feeding ourselves physically, right? And how that could make us unhealthy. But what are you feeding yourself mentally that can also put you in a unhealthy mental state? What are those things, right? Are you always listening to something that's negative? Are you figuring out different ways that you can grow? Or are you doing self-development things? Our thought patterns are all created because it's all what we're feeding ourselves over and over again. And if we go back to talk about what the definition of mindset, it's pretty much your thought patterns and what you're thinking over and over again. But it's not only that, it's also what you're feeding yourself over and over again that sinks down into your heart, because that's actually your mindset. Your mindset, it has nothing to do with your thought patterns or what you're thinking. It has all the things to do with how you feel. The reason that something is a mindset and your mind is set on that is because you feel some type of way about it. It pulls at your heartstrings when somebody try to change your perspective on it. If something makes you upset when somebody talks about it, or they try to go at a different perspective than you, it's probably that's your mindset trying to be changed. But the thing is, it's really in your heart because that's how you feel it. If it was just in your mind, you wouldn't feel anything because your mind has nothing to do with your heart most of the time. Right? So this is something that we have to be able to deal with. And one of those things, those negative thought patterns that we deal with every day, all the time, is jealousy, envy. But how can we make those things into something positive? How can we utilize those things to be able to help us be able to go collaborate with someone else that is doing something that we want to do? And how can we actually come together and use that as friendly competition, as some will call it? When you feel jealousy about someone, or you feel some type of way about someone, you should try to, first of all, check it immediately. Right? Check it immediately and realize where you are. So the first thing that you should do when you start feeling some type of way about somebody achieving something that you want to achieve, you should first off check yourself. First of all, check yourself and say, you know what? Am I thinking about this in a negative way? Why do I feel some type of way? Why do I feel angry at this person? Or why do I feel like this is happening? So go ahead and address it. Once you address it, show gratitude for where you are. Show gratitude for where you are. Sometimes we get so caught up and worried about what everybody else doing that we forget to be thankful for the things that we have already. If we're able to just be thankful for the things that we have, that'll keep jealousy out of our lives. So once I address it, I start, you know what? They got that, but I understand that I'm here right now, and I thank God for that. I'm blessed to have this. Right? They may have made $1 million this year, but guess what? I'm not homeless. I'm not struggling. Right? I'm not here on the street. I'm able to take care of me and my folks. Right? That should be the thought pattern behind the whole thing. It should not be, oh man, how they doing? Man, that shit lame. They probably cheating. They probably scamming. They probably doing something wrong. No, that is you hating. You are a hater. Right? So you need to be able to figure out, check yourself. First off, you need to check yourself. Next thing you need to do is show gratitude. Show gratitude to be thankful for you being where you are at this very moment, because it could always be worse. Then look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, why am I not at that place that there are? Why am I not achieving the same thing that they're achieving? Is it something that I'm not doing? And then now you can go to not in the place of self-hate and get mad at yourself. No, it's not for you to do that, because y'all take that as, let me go beat up on myself and say, well, I'm not as good as them. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And no, because not y'all. Let's talk about, I do that, right? I get in the mindset of, you know what, man, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe it's not that. It's not for you to beat up on yourself. It's for you to criticize yourself in a healthy way. It's healthy criticism, right? You got to say, you know what, they are doing this a little bit more. Okay, cool. They are marketing a little bit better. Okay, they are working a little harder. And that's some things that some of us don't want to admit. Maybe this person is just working harder than us. That's the hardest thing to admit. When somebody is working harder than you, when they're getting something that they achieving something that you want to achieve, being able to admit they are just more dedicated and working harder than us, that is the hardest thing for us to do. Especially as men, because we feel like we're supposed to go out here and grind all the time and work all the time. And you like, man, they actually working hard. And it's hard for us to admit that because we feel like we are not at the top of the totem pole anymore. Or the reason that makes you upset or make you feel the type of way when you realize somebody's working harder than you is because you realize there's untapped potential in you that you are not doing. You're putting yourself in a bad position. It's you. It's nobody else. It's not what they're doing. It's not that they're cheating. It's not that they're skipping out or anything. Not that they got some special connection. No, it's the fact is they're probably just working way harder than you. So we need to be able to address that and say, you know what? Let me look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm not working hard enough. Or, okay, maybe they figured out a different way of marketing I'm not doing anymore. Or maybe they just go out here and treat people better. You got to understand, sometimes just treating people better will put you in a better position in life. Right? They're actually helping people out. You're not looking at it from a standpoint of help people. You're thinking about a standpoint of just helping yourself. The best way to be able to go out here and actually achieve something is to solve somebody else's problem and help someone else. Are you doing that? If you're not doing that, you have to change your mindset. You have to change your mindset from a mindset of being selfish to a mindset of saying, you know what? How can I go out here and actually be valuable to someone else? How can I solve someone else's issue? You wouldn't have to be watching other people succeed in the way that you're not succeeding if you were out here helping individuals or solving more problems, because ultimately success and being able to make sure that you're being able to have success and being able to go out here and make it to where you want to go, it usually comes about how many people are you helping or how many problems are you solving. If you're not solving anybody's problem or helping anybody, I promise you're not going to get what you want in life either way. So what are those steps that I said, right? First thing first, we need to address the feeling. Once we start feeling jealousy and we start feeling like jealousy is coming upon us, right? We start to feel some type of way. I feel it. So guess what? I know y'all do too. You feel when it come on you, right? You feel when it come on you. Next, you need to address it. You need to say, all right, cool. I feel a little jealousy. I don't like this, right? I don't like this. This is not what I'm supposed to be feeling. Why am I feeling this way? Then go ahead and look yourself in the mirror and do a self-assessment. Why am I not where they are? Why am I not getting the results that they're getting? What am I doing that is not right, that's not advantageous or not helping me get to the place where they are right now? And once you do that, now let's try to figure out how we can collaborate. Try to contact those individuals. Let them know, hey man, and not from a fake place. Hey, look, I'm happy for you, man. I see what you're doing. Hey, can you give some tips? Like, how you do that? Like, tell me how you figure that out. That's the thing. My thing is, and me too, I'm the same way. We need to stop looking at competition over collaboration and look at collaboration over competition. That's one of my biggest stumbling blocks. Being able to just say, you know what, I need to change my mindset of saying I need to do everything on my own and I need to figure out how I could collaborate with other individuals. Realize that there's enough money and there's enough things out there to go around for all of us. We don't have to feel like we got to go out here and take it all for ourselves, because ultimately, when you're doing that, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. You can either have 100% of a sunflower seed or 25% of a watermelon. Try to figure out how you can help them get that, or how you can help them maybe get to the next level. And maybe they'll help you out with some game. So for me, I'm in real estate, obviously. I may go to somebody, they may be out here doing bigger deals. They may be doing $100,000 a month. That's cool. I go, hey man, hey, how can I help you out? How can I help you be able to build that up and grow that to the next level? And in exchange for that, they may give me some game. Now the thing is, we shouldn't always do things just to expect something in return, because ultimately we can't expect everybody to be like us. That's a mindset that has to change as well. We expect everybody to do the same thing that we're doing, and that's something I had to learn. Everybody isn't the same. Everybody isn't going to be able to give back and help you like you want to help them. We got to stop doing things in such a transactional way, because transactional relationships don't last long. We need to have transformational relationships that be able to help everyone grow in this situation. And ultimately, if they're not willing to give you something in exchange for the value that you're providing, understand that you're going to be blessed in a great way, because ultimately you're still doing things from a pure place. So stop always doing things looking for something in return. Because ultimately you'll get burnt out from doing things. But that's what we're put here on this earth to do, to help others grow, to be fruitful and multiply. Now, the thing is, the reality is, not everybody is there. Not everybody is going to do the same things you. Not everybody thinks like you. So we need to understand that, and we need to actually need to imply that to our lives. Right? So how are you dealing with these things every day? What are you feeding yourself every day? How are feeding yourself mentally every day? Every day. I mean, this is just something about, just especially like the thoughts that I was saying earlier, the stat I said earlier, 85% of our thoughts every day is negative. 95% of our thoughts is the same thoughts from the day before. So that means that you're continuously thinking negative, because 85% naturally, the way our human mind works, are negative. We think in a negative way. So if we're not doing anything to change that, guess what? We're going to be stuck in a negative thinking pattern. How do we change that? It's about what you're listening to every day, what you're putting in your mind every day. What are you feeding yourself mentally every single day? Every day I wake up, the first thing I do, I'm praying when I wake up. After that, I'm reading something positive. After that, I'm listening to a sermon, or I'm listening to a motivational speech. Depends what day it is. I'm not going to break my whole schedule down, but depends on what day it is. I'm either listening to a motivational speech or listening to a sermon. Now, at this point, I've started my whole day in a complete positive thinking pattern, because I understand how easy it is to get into stinking thinking, right? To get in a negative place of thinking, because it always happens. It happens to me quite often, right? I'll be going throughout my day. I might have something bad might have happened. I start getting a negative thought pattern, but then eventually I'm able to, since I'm always listening to something positive, when I'm in that negative thought pattern, I maybe listen to a podcast that eventually going to talk about something positive, or I'm reading something that's going to talk about something positive, and now that changed my whole thought pattern around. And now I'm like, you know what? I don't even know why I was thinking like that. What are you doing every day to change your thought patterns? What are you doing every day to feed yourself to change those negative thoughts to positive thoughts? How do you make that ratio go from 85%? How do you make that ratio go from 85% negative to maybe 50% negative, or 35% negative and mostly positive? Like, how are we doing that? How are you doing that? It's all about what you listen to, what you're reading. I understand we like the music. I understand we like the negative podcasts where people are arguing all the time and talking about what they got going on, and they doing all. I understand that. And sometimes, you want to be entertained. But before you entertain yourself, make sure that you are brainwashing yourself in a positive way. People look at brainwashing in a negative way, but brainwashing is the most positive thing you could do. It's nothing negative about brainwashing. You're being brainwashed either way in life. You're either being brainwashed in a negative way, or you're being brainwashed in a positive way. You choose which one you want to be brainwashed in. You choose what you're listening to. You choose what you're reading. You choose what you're locked into. You need to clean your brain. That's what brainwashing is. You need to clean it from all that negative stuff. So that way we can take those thoughts of jealousy, and we can take those thoughts of negative thoughts, that 85% of those negative thoughts, and be able to change those things and turn it upside down. How can we do that? Now, if you change that 85% negative thoughts to maybe 25% negative thoughts and 75% positive thoughts, and you're thinking the same thing 95% of the time, you're thinking about those same thoughts the next day. Now, guess what? You build this muscle of having a positive thought pattern, and the thought pattern is super powerful when you have that positive thought pattern. Bro, I'm able to keep going every single day. I'm able to continue doing the same thing every single day because I have some type of thought pattern that can't get out of my head, because I brainwash myself to know I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going every day. I'm tired. It don't matter what my body says. I'm getting up every day. I'm getting up anyway. Oh, I may be tired, but I know I got to make this happen, because I've been doing this year after year after year. I have had the same, get this right. I had the same alarm clock that says rise and grind with the same emojis since about 10th grade year. Guys, that was like 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And you know how you get a new iPhone, you know, everything just transfer over. So the same exact alarm that wakes me up every morning has said the same things for 10 years plus. I'm brainwashed. I'm literally brainwashed. And that's all right. Like, nobody can tell me different. Like people come try to talk to me, this is my mindset. And that's what it is. People come try to talk to me, you really can't. Unless you can prove me otherwise, bro, you can't tell me nothing different. Right? This is something that we have to learn how to do. We have to learn how to brainwash ourselves in a positive way. Because ultimately, what are you feeding yourself every day mentally? Yeah, physical is one thing, but mental is a whole different thing, because it's easier to change our physical and our physical diet, our dietary diet, I said dietary diet, the same thing, whatever. Right? We it's easier to change that than to change what we're thinking about mentally, because we've been thinking about these same things for years and years and years and years and years and coming. You expect to change this in a matter of a couple of days? No. It's going to take years and years and years to change. And guess what? As you're trying to change it, guess what's going to happen? As those things, as you're trying to change, you're still going to have those negative thoughts that come about. I promise. Right? And that's one of those things. I know a lot of people be like, man, you know, a lot of people deal with like addiction to pornography, right? Or something of that nature, right? I haven't masturbated in over a year of change now. And I was somebody that was watching it daily, masturbating multiple times a week. How was I able to change my thought or my mindset on doing that? How was I able to keep from doing that? Because ultimately I end up saying, you know what, I kept telling myself, this is something that's not good. This is not good. This is not good. And I kept telling myself, why are the reasons this is not good? And then I start having this conviction to be able to say, you know what, this isn't good. I need to stop. And one day, I kid you not, one day I just stopped. Now, how was I able to change that mindset? Which a lot of mindset get changed by. And I'm always bringing it back to something like this. God. Get into the word. Because most of those things that are negative, God is against. And then once you desire God more than you desire those negative things, guess what'll happen? You will start working on those things and start not to desire those things. The only reason that you desire those things more than anything and you can't get rid of it is because you don't desire God enough. You don't have something that's strong enough in your life that's keeping you pulled away from those things, even when you do get the thoughts, even when you do get the chance, or you feel like you got the opportunity to go think about masturbating or sleeping around or doing stuff like that. The only way that you can do this is you get a stronger desire for God most of the time. That's it. That is the only way I was able to move away from actually masturbating and doing things of the world. Now, of course, this crazy thing, like I said, I still get the urges from time to time. This is just real life. This is real life. But when you get that urge and you desire something greater, you just got to desire something greater. Once you desire something greater, then the reason why you're doing that negative thing, you won't do it because you say, I'm not finna go back to that place that I was once before. You have to know that desires is going to happen. You're going to desire to do negative things. When somebody comes up, just I was talking about jealousy, you're going to desire to hate on somebody and feel like why they in a place that you want to be in. You're going to have that desire, but once you have a greater desire for something, you got to have a desire for something greater than that feeling that you're feeling at that moment. Now, how are you going to build that? That is between you and God, and figuring out what is that. I'm gonna always say, hey, for me, it's God, Jesus Christ, right? I'm always say, you know, that's that desire for me. You have to figure out what is that desire for you. What's that desire that'll keep you from going backwards? From stepping away? What is that desire? For some people, your desire may be your kid, right? If you got a kid, whatever that is. Man, I got a kid. I can't be doing that no more. I can't be acting this way no more, because ultimately I want to make sure that I build a better life for them. So I can't desire to sleep in anymore, because I can't want to sleep and be lazy, because now that's what I'm building for my family. That's what I'm building for my child. That's what I'm building for my wife. I'm building something that they're not going to want to live in because of my laziness, because I want to sleep longer. My desire to sleep this real life. My desire to sleep is not there because I have a desire to do something greater for my family. I have a desire to do something greater in the world. So therefore, guess what? I don't have that desire to sleep in and take naps and sleep all. I don't have that. I don't. Now, the thing is, do I feel like going to sleep? Do I feel like taking a nap? Do I get sleepy some days? Of course, we're human. What do you think going to happen? But once you have forget the feeling. So, this is good. Thank God, right? It's a difference between a desire and a feeling, right? So you may have a feeling saying, you know what? I feel like I need to sleep longer today. But once you have the desire to say, you know what? I want to sleep longer and I feel like it, but my desire to be able to build something great for my family is better than the feeling for me to sleep. My desire is stronger than my feeling. I may feel like I'm horny today. I feel like I want to masturbate. I feel like I want to just hit a random person up and try to go talk to him and sleep with him. I feel that way. But ultimately, my desire is to be right with Christ. That's my desire. Your desire has to be stronger than your feeling. But right now, and that's okay because I deal with it as well. We all deal with the same thing. Sometimes our feeling is the desire, and what we feel that should be the desire, we need to switch it. So right now you have a desire to pleasure yourself. You have a desire to be pleasured, but you feel like you want to be close to God. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like I just feel that way. But you don't have a strong conviction or a strong feeling, so you haven't switched it. You feel like you want to sleep in, or you don't feel like working today. Right? But I desire to build something great, build a great empire for my family. I desire that. I don't feel like working out today, but I desire to be able to live a long, healthy life. I don't feel like eating healthy today, right? But I desire to live long for my family. You gotta be able to make sure you are building a desire that is stronger than a feeling to keep you from falling back into those negative ways or those negative habits that you had before. So we need to start trying to figure out what are we feeling, but how do we put a desire in place of that feeling that keeps us from doing that feeling? Because the only reason, or let me say this again, it keeps us from doing the action to fulfill that feeling. What I want y'all to think about this tonight. What is something right now that you can't stop and you just seem like, I don't know how to get rid of this. I don't know how to walk. I don't know how to stop taking this action that I know is harming me or harming me and my family. Think about that feeling and think about what's the bigger purpose for you to stop doing that thing and why you wanted to stop doing it. If that reason is big enough, you will start to desire to get right rather than desire to feel like you need to just fulfill that feeling that you have. So, tonight I talked about a couple of things. Talked about being able to, how to handle when you feel jealousy and how to make that turn into something positive. Talked about what are you thinking about what are you actually feeding yourself mentally, and how to turn those 85% negative thoughts that we have as humans every single day, how to change that into something positive, or be able to go out here and suppress those negative thoughts and replace them with positive thoughts. And I talked about how to build something or build a desire strong enough to keep you from doing what you're feeling. So, look, it was definitely a good conversation. I'm going to be dropping more of these every Monday. Check out Real Estate Wednesday on Wednesday. And stay tapped in. If you got any questions with me, questions for me, hit me up. DM me, _Mr. Mindset, of course. And we can chop it up. If you got something to say ever, join in. Talk, join the conversation. But I am out. Y'all have a blessed night.